The American legal system is built upon a fundamental premise: the Constitution protects people, not just citizens. This distinction is the cornerstone of civil liberties in the United States. Whether a person arrived yesterday or their ancestors arrived centuries ago, the moment they stand on U.S. soil, they are enveloped by the protections of the Bill of Rights. In recent years, the aggressive expansion of ICE tactics, including neighborhood sweeps, workplace raids, and home knock and talks, has tested these constitutional boundaries. For many, the knock at that door has become a source of profound terror. However, fear is often the primary tool used by enforcement agencies to bypass legal requirements. By understanding the law, identifying legal maneuvers, and practicing a disciplined defense, individuals and communities can turn that fear into a powerful assertion of justice. To defend oneself, one must first understand the specific amendments that ICE frequently attempts to circumvent. The Fourth Amendment, the right to privacy and the security of the home. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. In the eyes of the law, the home is a sanctuary. In the landmark case Payton versus New York of 1980, the Supreme Court ruled that the physical entry of the home is a chief evil against which the wording of the Fourth Amendment is directed. ICE agents often ignore this by attempting to gain entry without a judicial warrant. They rely on the fact that most people do not know the difference between a document signed by an immigration official and one signed by a judge. The Fifth Amendment, the power of silence. The Fifth Amendment ensures that no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. While immigration proceedings are technically civil, not criminal, the right to remain silent remains a vital defense. Anything you say regarding your country of origin, your entry date, or your status is a piece of evidence that ICE can use to build a case against you. If you provide nothing, their job becomes significantly harder. The 14th Amendment, equal protection and due process. The 14th Amendment ensures that the government cannot deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. This means that ICE cannot simply whisk someone away without a hearing or target individuals based solely on their race, ethnicity, or the language that they speak, which would constitute racial profiling. ICE often operates in a gray area of the law, using methods that are frequently challenged and overturned in court. Recognizing these legalities as they happen is crucial for a future legal defense. The police ruse. One of the most common and arguably most deceptive tactics used by ICE is the ruse. Agents often wear vests emblazoned with police in large letters, with ICE appearing in much smaller, less visible print. They may tell a resident that they are investigating a crime in the neighborhood or looking for a suspect. Why it is wrong. While the courts have allowed some level of undercover deception, using the prestige of local police to trick a person into waiving their Fourth Amendment rights is a violation of the spirit of the Constitution. Many local jurisdictions have passed sanctuary laws specifically to prevent ICE from confusing the public in this way. as it destroys the trust between local police and the community. Collateral arrests and fishing expeditions. ICE often enters a home looking for one specific individual, the target. If that person is not there, or even if they are, agents will often begin questioning everyone else in the house. This is known as a collateral arrest. Why this is wrong. Without reasonable suspicion that a specific person has committed a violation, ICE has no legal authority to detain or question bystanders. Forcing everyone in a home to show ID without a specific warrant for those individuals is a general search, which the founders specifically wrote the Fourth Amendment to prevent. Coerced consent. Because ICE often lacks the judicial warrants necessary to enter a home, they rely on consent. However, consent must be voluntary. If an agent threatens to call Child Protective Services or claims they will break the door down if you don't comply, any consent given is considered coerced and legally invalid. Trespassing on curtilage. The Fourth Amendment protection extends to the curtilage of the home. This includes the porch, the yard, and the driveway. ICE agents often linger on porches or peer through windows for extended periods. Unless they are using a standard walkway to knock on the door, they are often trespassing on private property in a way that violates the occupant's reasonable expectation of privacy. The warrant litmus test. The most important educational tool for protecting against ICE is learning to read a warrant. There are two types of documents ICE carries, and only one gives them the power to enter your home. The administrative warrant, which is Forms I-200 and I-205. An ICE official or an immigration director is the one who signs that warrant. It allows ICE to arrest someone in a public space. It does not give them the right to enter a private home, a private workplace, or a closed back room of a business. It will usually say Department of Homeland Security at the top, and it will not be signed by a judge. There's also the judicial warrant. A judge or a magistrate of the U.S. District Court is the one who signs this one. It specifically names a person to be arrested and the exact address to be searched or entered. If they have this, you must let them in, but you should still remain silent and do not sign anything. Never open the door to look at a warrant. Ask them to hold it up to a window or slide it under the door. If you open the door even an inch, ICE agents are trained to put their foot in the door, later claiming in court that you invited them in. Defending your rights require different strategies depending on where the encounter occurs. Scenario A, ICE is at your front door. Keep the door closed. This is the strongest legal barrier. Ask for identification. Ask them to identify themselves. If they say police, ask which department. Ask for a warrant. Do you have a warrant signed by a judge? Slide it under the door. If they don't have one, state clearly, I do not consent to you entering my home. I will not open the door. I am exercising my right to remain silent. Observe and record. If you can safely do so, record the encounter through a window or have someone else in the house record from a distance. Scenario B. ICE stops you on the street. In public, ICE needs reasonable suspicion to stop you and probable cause to arrest you. First off, ask, am I free to go? If they say yes, walk away calmly. If they say no, state, I am exercising my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Do not hand over documents. You are not required to carry or show papers to ICE in the street in most circumstances. Handing over a foreign passport provides them with the very evidence of alienage they need to detain you. Do not run. Running is often used as reasonable suspicion to chase and detain you. Scenario C. ICE enters your workplace. Employers have rights too. An employer can refuse ICE entry to non-public areas, such as break rooms, factory floors, kitchens, etc., unless ICE has a judicial warrant. Stay calm. Do not run for the exits as ICE usually guards these first. Do not answer questions. You can simply say, I need to speak with my attorney. Protection is not just an individual act. It is a community effort. When ICE oversteps, the only way to hold them accountable is through evidence. The First Amendment right to record. You have a clear First Amendment right to film law enforcement officers performing their duties in public. Recording ICE agents deterred them from using physical violence or verbal abuse, creates a record of whether they showed a warrant, captures whether they identified themselves correctly. Do not hold the camera in a way that interferes with their movements, as they may arrest you for obstruction. Many advocacy groups distribute red cards. These are small cards printed with the statement in English and Spanish that asserts your constitutional rights. If you are too nervous to speak, you can slide this card under the door or hand it to an agent. It states that you are not exercising that you are exercising your right to remain silent, that you do not consent to a search, and that you wish to speak to a lawyer. Protection also means being prepared for the worst case scenario. Every family should have a defense folder that includes a list of emergency contacts, a power of attorney for childcare and finances, medical records, and a list of necessary medications. A copy of the A number, the alien registration number, if any family member has one. When ICE violates the Fourth Amendment to enter a home, they trigger the exclusionary rule, often called the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. If a lawyer can prove that ICE entered a home illegally, any evidence they gathered inside, such as birth certificates, admissions of status, or the person themselves, may be suppressed in immigration court. This can lead to the termination of deportation proceedings. By standing your ground at the door, you are not just delaying the inevitable, you are potentially creating the legal conditions that will allow you to win your case in the future. The expansion of ICE enforcement into the private lives of residents is a challenge to the very idea of American liberty. However, the Constitution remains the supreme law of the land, outranking any administrative agency or executive order. Protecting yourself from ICE is an act of civic courage. It requires the discipline to remain silent when pressured, the presence of mind to demand a warrant, and the solidarity to stand with neighbors. When we insist that ICE follow the law, we are not just protecting one family, We are defending the integrity of the Bill of Rights for everyone. Stay safe out there, everybody. It's getting kind of crazy.